Good afternoon, virtual village holders. Hi, I'm Kate from What Kate Made, and this afternoon we're going to be looking at some more of our Jubilee party decor. If you joined me Thursday, we did party favours, pin cushion, and what was the other thing we did? I can't remember. Anyway, I have comments up, so please feel free to join me with the comments. And I'll show you what we're going to do today. So today we're going to concentrate on decorations for your party, and I've got a couple of things to show you. So none of these require any sewing, so you won't be watching me thread needles today. The first item is our no-sew bunting, which is made with felt, so there's no fraying involved, so that's quite nice, with ribbon, which is glued on. So it forms a sort of Union Jack effect. And on the back, we have put 70 for the Platinum Jubilee. Very simple. I would then just possibly even staple it to a piece of ribbon or cord or tape. And it's two-sided, so you can make as many as you want and just string them along. So that is, sew bunting. So that's the first thing I'm going to show you. But then I'm going to show you also this vase comes table centerpiece. So this again is made with a tin can with ribbon and buttons, so it's very easy to make. Everything's glued on again, so there's no sewing. So we'll start with the bunting. I'm not sure whether the template that I had got put on, but I'll put it on again when I've finished. I'll add it in the comments. So this is the bunting template I'm using, and I also have the letters. When you print this out, you need to have your letters reversed because you're going to be drawing them. We're going to draw them reversed onto felt just so you don't see the outline of the pencil. So the other thing we're going to need is ribbons. If you joined in with me the other day, Thursday, you'll have seen all the ribbons I bought, and you'll have seen me say that you needed to get ordering if you wanted them. So these are my 3 ribbons. So there's a very wide blue one, a narrower white one, and then an even narrower red one. These are slightly different to the ones I used here because I used all my red and white ribbon up there. So they're slightly different. And also my felt is different because it's navy blue, and that came today. In fact, that came at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So we nearly didn't have any felt. Right, so I'm going to point the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. I have already done some pre-prep, so I've cut some bits already. I just want to say hi to Martine and Eleanor. Eleanor is one of the ladies in the craft group I go to, so she watches quite regularly. I'm just going to point the camera down so you can see what I'm doing now. Just bear with me a sec. Can you see my workspace? I think so. I don't want to knock the camera over. So this is the bunting template. It's a isosceles triangle. Or is it an equilateral triangle? It's an isosceles triangle. I had to look it up when I was drawing this. This one is, let's measure it this way on my cutting mat. So that is 5.5 along this top edge. And lengthwise it's 8 inches. That's inches, by the way. So I thought that was a nice size. I've done bunting before, but I used a smaller template and it wasn't quite as effective because when you're doing the ribbon Union Jack effect on it, you want to still be able to see the blue, so the smaller one wasn't any good. So first thing you do is cut out your template and then cut out a piece of navy blue felt to the size of your template. So I'm going to do the ribbon effect on here first. I say it's no sew because everything is glued together. So you can either use the hot glue, my trusty hot glue gun, which I'm going to remember to switch it on. My lovely cordless glue gun. I absolutely adore that. I'm very easily pleased. You could use double-sided tape. I will do some with this just so you can see how it works. Or you could use glue dots, which are great as well. They're just little, the tape, little tiny dots of glue. You can't really see them, I don't think, on the camera, but there's little glue dots on there. And you just peel them off. Right. So the way we form our Union Jack is, the blue's already there. We're going to make a two diagonals and a vertical and horizontal with the white ribbon, and then we're going to stick the red ribbon on top of it. So first thing you would do is measure the length of your diagonals, and they're going to go, I always leave a little bit over so that we've got plenty of space. So I'm going to cut that there. They should all be, if you do draw around the template, they should all be the same. So your diagonals are going to be 7.5 roughly. So I already have some cut here. That's my long length. That's my vertical length. That I think is my horizontal length. Or maybe not. Let me just try that one. That's my horizontals. I think I've got two the same size for my horizontals, and then my diagonals. I mean, right? I can't remember which is which now, but I'm going to do all of them, and then we'll figure it out. So I'm just going to lay the felt to one side while we do the ribbons. So I'm going to lay my ribbons out, shiny side up, and then I'm going to put my lengths of red ribbon down the middle to form the see if I find the long one. That's the long one. Right. The first one I'm going to do, one of the shorter ones, I'm going to do it with glue dots. And I'm going to choose one of the short ones just because it'll be quicker. So with your glue dots, oops, sticking to everything, just pull off a length, tear off a length. Glue dots are, can you see them? Just about. So with this one, what I will do is you apply the glue dot like that and then peel it off. Doesn't always stick exactly to. So that is on now on the ribbon. You can see it's shiny. So I'm going to stick that at the top. Then I'm going to apply, it probably would be easier if I put it on the white actually. I'm going to apply another one at the bottom. That hasn't stuck very well. And another one in the middle. Peel it off. If you find you're getting some fray, right, don't use glue dots, they don't work very well. Some fray on your ribbon, then what you can do, and I haven't got mine lit at the moment, is if you can get a tea light candle, you can just singe the edges of your ribbon just by holding it near the flame, not right in the flame, otherwise it will go on fire. But that will stop the edges of your ribbon fraying. So that's our first one. So I'll put that one to one side. And then I'm going to show you how to use the double-sided tape next. I'm going to do it on the shorter pieces because it's quicker. So that's your shorter piece. So what you would do with this is apply the double-sided tape. This is a nice narrow one. I've got them in several different widths now to the back of your ribbon. So again, it can be a little bit awkward. So I'm going to put that there, and then this is where you need 3 pairs of hands, particularly as this ribbon seems to want to curl up a bit. So I'm going to stretch that all the way along, and then that will just tear off. And now I'm going to attempt to peel this off. I say attempt because you've watched me before, you know this is where you need nails. Oh, it's coming first time. There we go. Peel the backing off. I'm sure you've all used double-sided tape before. And then apply it to your ribbon right in the middle. And just... Right. So those are the 2 methods. As you can see, the glue dots haven't worked very well, so I might just put some dabs of... But the double-sided tapes worked ace. And the rest I'm going to do with my glue gun, which is now warmed up. So I'm going to put the glue on the narrow ribbon because that will just make it slightly easier to place. And you're only putting a tiny bit. We don't want to put a massive amount because it does bleed through. Right, that's that one. And I seem to have lost a piece of red ribbon. So I will cut another one. It's this length. So I'll cut it there. And again, I'm going to, with the glue. I don't know where you are and what the weather's doing with you, but I've got a very, very black sky here. It looks like we might be about to get a thunderstorm. Oh, ow, see, Bernie. So you've got to be very careful with hot glue. People laugh when I say Bernie, Bernie, but that's what I used to say to my son when he was little, to stop him touching things that were hot. Right. And it hurts now. It'll take my fingerprints off. Hi, Irene. Irene's a regular as well. And Sophie and Sophia, welcome. Just do this last one. If you are joining us and you've missed the start, you can always listen back later. If you are watching on replay, if you could comment replay, then I know who's around. I'm going to try and do this one without burning myself. So I'm sticking it from one end and running to the other. Right, so that's all my stripes ready. So I'm now ready to apply these to the felt. So that's my felt bunting that I've cut out using my templates. And I like to do the diagonals first, just because they lie under the other things then. So I've got one diagonal there, and then one diagonal. Actually, that's too short. It must be that one. There. So it's hanging over the edge slightly, and I'm going to trim it afterwards. So I'll do this one first. So again, I'm going to put a line of glue, just a thin line, all the way down the length of the ribbon, and then pick it up, avoiding putting your fingers on it, and stick it on corner and then down to there. It has overlapped a little bit. It will stick to my cutting mat, but it's fine. And you just do that with all your pieces of ribbon. Burnt myself again. It all sticks to my fingernails as well. Now this is the one I did with the glue dot, so I'm going to try and put a little bit of glue under it because it wasn't very successful, the glue dot. You can always use a pencil with hot glue to just dab it down in case, if you don't want to put your fingers on it. And I always forget that and burn myself. Right, so this is our cross piece, our horizontal cross piece. Oh, now somebody here is making Jubilee cakes. I love a cake. That's not a hint, by the way. You could post one to me. So, and that is our final piece, the long vertical strand. So I'm going to just, again, glue it. It's starting to feel a bit wonky. I might put a bit too much glue on that one. And right across the middle, down to the point. So I'm quite pleased with that now. So I'm not going to trim it yet because I'm going to do the 70 on the back. So on our template, which again, I say I will load up, we've got a 7 and a 0. And I've got white felt for it because it's platinum. Now, when you draw around the felt, the 7, I'm reversing it because I don't want the pencil mark to be on the front when I cut it. And quite often I can't cut inside the pencil mark because I'm not very good. So I'm just going to draw around this. The templates, I say this every time, I always print mine on card. Then I can reuse them time and time again. You can just print them on paper if you want, but then I would trace them onto card. What I have is usually I have some sticky backed printer paper, and I print it out on that, and then peel the backing off and stick it onto card and cut it out. Just because my printer won't take card for some reason. It just throws its hands up in the air and says, I'm not doing that. With the 0, of course, you don't have to reverse it because it's symmetrical. So there you can see I've written on there my 70, which I'm now going to cut out. And I'm just going to cut like that first to make it a little bit less awkward. My white felt to one side. And then I'm going to cut it out. So these are my fabric scissors, which nobody else is allowed to touch. And I certainly don't ever cut anything with glue on it with these, otherwise they go in a terrible mess. So that's my 7. And as you can see, the white side, the back side is what I'm gonna, so I won't have any pencil marks on it. To one side. And again, if you've watched me before, you'll know I keep all my scraps of fabric for stuffing dog toys. I've got quite a bag full now, so I might make some dog toys this weekend. I'm babysitting for my son's dogs this weekend. Dog sitting, I should say. We don't have any grandchildren yet, so, and our lovely doggy died just after Christmas, so we're looking after his dogs while they go camping. So I'm quite looking forward to that. That'll give me a good excuse to make some toys and go out for lots of walks. Not that I need an excuse to go out for a walk, but it motivates me. Okay, so we're ready now to stick our letters on. I'm just going to tidy up because the navy blue felt picks up a lot of bits of lint. So this is our back. And again, it's just a case of the glue gun's gone off. We're gluing it up. So a little glue on the back. And place it on you like that, which is the right side. That one, I think it matters because I managed to cut inside the lines. And add 70. And now it's time to trim off the ribbons. Now these are gluey ribbons, so I'm not using my sharp scissors. I am using my third best scissors, which are here. And I'm just going to cut it from the back, just because it's easier to see where the lines are. And I'm going to cut along the, maybe need to use my slightly better scissors. These aren't really doing it today. So as I said before, if you've got a lighter, that's ideal. I don't have a lighter. But if you can light a match, or as I say, light a tea light, and just hold the edges of your ribbon close to it, but not actually over it, it will, because these are acrylic ribbons, it will make them seal the ends so they won't fray. It's because you can see it's starting to fray a bit on that corner because the scissors aren't really sharp enough. So I'm just going to try and cut this last bit. Now. It's like on the telly when they were interviewing politicians over Zoom and their phones go off or they get messages and they haven't turned off their alerts, but that was spam, so it's disappeared. Then I get my sister-in-law sending me a Wordle score. Does anybody else out there do Wordle? Hi, Donna. Right, so there we go. I'm really pleased with that. Probably my point could be a little bit more straight if I was being really purist. And so somebody will tell me that Union Jacks are odd. They're not all even lines, but hey. Oh, there's my mum watching. My mum, Sylvia, is being chief organizer of a Jubilee party. And I said to her at the weekend when I spoke to her, have you not watched me? So she's watching now to get ideas. So there you go, mum. Jubilee bunting, no sew. You've got your glue gun, so you can make this. It's got 70 on the back and your Union Jack on the front. And I'll show you this is the one I made for my demo. Now, what I would do is maybe use a length of the red ribbon. And again, no sewing. Either glue it on or staple it on. Like that. And then you can hang it up. Spread them out. You could even put just red, white and blue felt ones in between with no decoration on at all. But I think the felt makes really good bunting if you're not a sewer. And I am a sewer, but I've never made bunting because I think I find it a little bit frustrating to turn everything inside out. So that's the no-sew bunting. And that will make your party go with a swing. So the next item is our little table centerpieces with buttons made out of tin can. These, I only ever buy ring pull cans now because I have a thing about not being able to open tins with a tin opener, which makes it quite difficult when I go camping. If you're using a ring pull can, and I would recommend the ring pull can just because when you take the top off the can, you can get a very sharp edge. You still get quite a sharp edge. So what you need to do is run some sandpaper around it. Wouldn't like you to cut yourselves. The cans are good. They're lightweight. Everybody has them. There's lots and lots and lots of them around. Saying that, I need about 20 for next week, so I'm going to have to go scavenging around the village. So I've glued the ribbon on. Again, you don't have to use your glue gun. You can use double-sided tape. I'm not recommending the glue dots after that. You could even use PVA glue, but you'd have to wait for it to dry. So, in good old Blue Peter fashion, here's one I prepared earlier. I've peeled all the paper off it. There's still a little bit of glue on it, but I'm not going to worry about that because I'm going to cover it. So I am going to start with, this is my navy blue ribbon. It's a wide one. I haven't used this yet because obviously we had the blue background. I'm going to put it around the middle of my can, and to measure it, I'm just going to simply measure the length of the can and then cut it. Okay. So that is this goal. This is a standard baked bean size tin, or quite often tin tomatoes we get a lot of, and that is a roughly 10 inches in circumference. So for this one, I'm going to start with this wide ribbon in the middle. I'm going to vary it slightly than the one I did there because I thought that ended up looking a bit like a French flag. So I'm going to put a big dot of glue in the middle, and then I'm going to put my blue ribbon on it. You can use the ridges on the can to line everything up. Don't burn yourself. Use your pencil to tap it down, and then keeping it straight, roll it round halfway. I'm going to do it facing you so I can see. I'm going to put another dot of glue on there, and I'm going to carry on rolling. I am using the lines on the tin to give me a little bit of guidance as to getting it straight. Just going to put another. So I would put 4 dots of glue, so a quarter turn between each one. Whoops. And then you want just enough to overlap at the back. You're going to put all your overlaps in the same place. So that's where we're going to start and end each time. Okay. So that's my first piece on. Now I've already cut mine, so I am going to just show you. So I've got 2 white ones and I've got 4 red ones and 1 blue one. And I'm going to put the white ones at the top and the bottom. So again, I'm going to find my join where I started. Put some glue. And I'm going to line this up with the bottom of the can, hopefully. Use my pencil to dab the glue down. And then a quarter turn. More glue. And then a quarter turn. today's my going live day because I'm going to be live tonight on my own page, doing some fabric flowers for a summer wreath. If you've followed me for a while, you'll know that I've been doing four seasons of wreaths for my front door. I did a couple live online for VVH, and my last one, my final one, is the summer one tonight, which I'm going to prepare tonight. So rather than do it as a workshop, I am just going to demonstrate how to make the fabric flowers and the things I'm going to put on it. So let's just get this last piece of white ribbon on. They may move slightly, but you can just adjust them. That's why I put 4 lots of glue on, is so that it helps keep them in place and stops them moving too much. So with this, you can put it in the center of your table. I think I've got another broadcast next Monday. I think it might be Thursday. I'll double check that for you. I'm sure the village hall will be able to tell you when it is. I'm not going to make things to go in the middle of these, but I think they'll be really nice if you put knives and forks on your table, wrapping them up in napkins. It'd be nice popped into one of these. Just going to put a little dot under there because I've got a bit of an end hanging over there. Right, so that's us so far. And now I'm going to cover up the 2 bits that are still uncovered with red. That one looks a bit wide. I've probably just slightly misplaced that. But what I'll do is I'll maybe put 2 red over it there. So I'm going to put a red one in the middle to split up my blue. Trying to keep it central all the way around. When I did Thursday's demonstration, I did talk to everybody and asked what their plans were for Jubilee, the Jubilee party. And one lady, her village do well dressing, which, you know, I was really quite impressed with the thought of well dressing. Right, so I'm going to cover this silver bit with another bit of ribbon. Did you all watch the Eurovision Song Contest at the weekend? I don't normally watch it, but we'd been out for the evening and we came back and it was just, they were just giving the first score and I think we scored points, and I said, oh, that's unusual. Should we watch this? So we watched it right through to the end. I honestly think we came first, really. I know that sounds a bit, but Ukraine probably wouldn't have beaten us if it hadn't been for the current circumstances. But I still like the Ukrainian song. But I really liked ours. Anyway, that was Eurovision. So this bottom bit, I think it's a bit wider than I expected it to be. So I'm not going to be able to cover it with just one bit of ribbon. So I'm going to put hi Rosemary, catch up with you later. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another piece of white round there, and then you said it was 10 inches, didn't we? And then I'm going to put strands of red on it as well, because I think that gap's just too big to cover with the red. So, and it gives it a less uniform look. I'm always getting told off for being a bit of a straight line fanatic when it, you know, it's a bit arty, be a little bit random. I say I'm always getting told off. It's my friend. I have an art teacher friend, and she's the one that tells me off. It's not everybody. She likes me to try to stop being so uniform and symmetrical. Right, so that is a bit long. I'm going to trim that off. So where we've overlapped at the back, it does look quite neat. Don't worry about strands of glue because they will come off. Right, so what I'll do is I'll put the red strand over the join there. This is entirely up to you. You can be as creative or not as you please with your ribbons. It's purely about personal choice, and there are no mistakes to be made. There never are in crafting. There are only unique differences. I hope Mum's getting loads of good ideas. She'll be saying, why don't you just pop up? Oh, I've cut that one too short. Typical. Never mind. We'll pretend we didn't see that we wanted it short. Actually got a little bit extra there. I cut off before. I will just patch it. And if you put it exactly matching, it will not show. That's what I tell myself anyway. We've got a few strands of glue, but as I say, hot glue just peels off when it's dry. So I spent Saturday afternoon peeling it off my nails. I'm quite pleased with that. Even the back is very tidy. Let me turn it so you can see it. Can't really see it. You could put your buttons over that, but I found I wanted the buttons at the front. So I'm going to show you the buttons I've got. So I bought from eBay, I bought Union Jack buttons, which I love. And I also bought a mixture of red, white and blue buttons. Don't normally buy buttons. I normally recycle them from garments, but I was really struggling to find any in my stash that were red, white and blue. Some of these are quite nice. That one, for instance, it's got a bit of glitter in it, so I might use that one. On mine, I put them like that. So they were, again, very symmetrical, but I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to be a bit random. And I'll do a Union Jack one in the middle. No, I won't. I'm going to layer them. I'm going to use a big one and layer a smaller glittery one into the middle for my centre. Quite like that. So I'll glue that one. I'll put some glue on in the middle. Gluing buttons together is a little bit hairy because you tend to press down and then the glue squishes up through the holes. And that didn't that time good. So there you can see I've done a layered button. That's going to be my big one in the middle. So the back goes down, so I know the middle. That's the front, opposite the back. Obviously, my glue's put itself to sleep. So that's going to go right in the centre. Yep, like that. Then I'm going to use two of the Union Jack ones, either side of it. So I'll put one there on that red ribbon. You could cut flowers out of felt and put them on as well. I'm going to show you some flowers later because that's what I'm going to be doing next time. I think I'll leave it at that. I like that. Again, it's symmetrical because and that appeals to me. I shall just pop my buttons away so I don't knock them all over the floor and they go up the hoover. In fact, I'm just going to push them to the back because that's quicker. So that is our two pieces of party decor. Our no-sew bunting and our centrepiece tin. So your centrepiece, as I said before, you could either put in it your knives and forks wrapped up in a serviette, a nice Union Jack serviette, or Jubilee patterned one, or you could make it into a centrepiece, an actual table centrepiece, and that's what we're going to be doing next time. We're going to be looking at making flags to go in it at making some flat flowers. So this one is felt and buttons, as is this one, slightly different. This one has got a pleat in it. I don't know if you can see that. And this one is just flat. And then we're also going to make, with our ribbons, we're going to make these little roses as well. So that one has got rose ribbons around it. The centre's felt, and then it's just got a little blue button on there. And obviously they're a little bit short in there, but we will make them so that they will go in our centrepiece tin. So I've got 2 of these now. I'm going to make another 2, and that's going to be my contribution to our Jubilee party. Right, just bear with me while I pop the camera back up. Hi, so back in the room. I hope you've enjoyed that, and that you're getting ready for your own Jubilee party. I know mummies, they're well on it. As I say, I think my next one is either next Monday or next Thursday. I can't remember which it is, but it's definitely before the Jubilee weekend. And I'm going to show you then how to make the fabric flowers and the flag. The little flags are made with paper and cards, and the flowers are made with felt and ribbon, and we're using our buttons as well. So that is what you will need, as well as the usual glue, scissors, needle and thread. I'm going to pop the template up on the comment. I'm not sure whether it's there. It might be there, but I'll put it on again anyway. And yeah, then you can download it and start on your own bunting. It's been a really good session. I have been at work this morning, so I rushed back. I didn't even realise this morning I was doing it, so I have rushed back. And thank you very much for watching. Please comment if you're there. I am very, very happy to get as many comments as possible. I do like to read them back. When I've finished here, I'll go and make myself a coffee and I'll read it back while I'm getting tea ready. So thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you at the next session for our Jubilee flowers. So I am Kate, and I'm saying goodbye, and join me next time.